9.883 seconds or 9.88 na lang for short, no? So, based on our computation, okay, at takbo ng motorcycle, okay, when it is accelerating is 4.167 seconds from 60 feet per second to 85 feet per second. Okay. So, that's why meron tayong 2 segments na. Alright, may dalawa tayong segment dito or dalawang span. From 0 to 4.17 seconds and then 4.17 seconds to 9.88 seconds. In this case, dahil constant yung acceleration from 60 to 85 feet per second, so linear ang increase ng kanyang ng kanyang velocity. Kaya ganyan siya, no? Linear, naka-line siya. And then up to this one, constant na lang yung takbo niya, kaya constant na 85 feet per second. Okay? So, in this case, how can we solve for the coordinates or the y coordinates sa displacement? So, what we're going to do here is that, okay, actually guys, ano lang to, you can also use yung mga formula natin, no? Kasi ito, meron tong constant acceleration. But in this case, let's be general, kapag hindi siya, you're going to differentiate, or gawin natin dito is what? Okay, this one, no? Kahanin nyo yung area nito, itong portion na to. Parang trapezoidal dito from 0 to 4.17 seconds. So, ang area niyan ay, syempre, area ng trapezoid ay 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Since nakatagilid ito or nakatayo, so we have 1/2 times the sum of 60 and 85, 8 times 4.17 seconds. Okay, so if we do that, okay, so we will get, okay, 302.08. Okay, so ito yung 302 dito, no? Okay? And next is this one. Okay? So this one, ang area nito for sure ay 85 times the difference between 9.88 and 4.17. Okay? So this, okay, wait lang . Okay, yung 5.8 feet. Tapos yung area na kanina nito, 485.92. Okay, so mapupunta ka rin sa 7. Okay? So, let's focus dun sa susunod na problem para masanay tayo kung mga graphs na ganito, no? Okay, for problem number 8, the velocity draw the first one displacement time graph, and the other one is the acceleration time graph for the motion. So this one has 3 seconds. So take note guys, para makuha mo yung tawag ito, yung time graph for the, ang inuna natin dito ay tawag nito, acceleration time graph yung inuna natin dito. So take note that acceleration is the derivative of the velocity function with respect to time. Okay, so based from this one, we can see that this is linearly increasing, no? This one. So this has a rise of 20 with a run of 5. Ayan. So a run of 5, no? So 20 divided by 5 is 4. And y-intercept niya apparently ay 4. So velocity has a function equal to 40. Okay, for the segment 0 to 5 seconds. Okay, so yan. So this one, yung equation ng function ni velocity is equal to 4t. Take note guys, no, para lang siyang coordinate system, no. Pero ito yung x, ito yung y. So pinalitan lang siya ng variables. So v equals 4t. Then from 5 seconds to 20 seconds time, the velocity is constant na 20 meters per second. And for time 20 to 30 seconds, okay, gagamitin lang natin yung formula dito ng 2-point form of a line. Okay, so we have v minus 20 is equal to what? Yung slope na to is obviously negative. So we have 0 minus 20, yun yung value ng y, no? Okay, ito 0 and 20, and then minus what? Over 30 minus 20 times t minus 20. Okay, so we will get here velocity equals 60 minus 2t. So that's the first part of this one. You must know how to get the equation of a certain graph, no? From this one. So as I said a while ago, okay, that the acceleration is the derivative of the velocity function with respect to time. So lahat to nakuha mong function dito, yung 40, 4 times t, no? 20, and 60 minus 2t, lahat yun i-differentiate mo. So the derivative of 4 times t is simply 4. Derivative of a constant is 0. Okay, and the derivative of 60 minus 2t, negative 2. Okay, so yan yung mga mga acceleration natin at those 3 points or this segment. So if you notice, lahat yan ay constant velocity. Okay, next, for the velocity time graph, from the velocity time graph, okay, let's say t1 is 5 seconds, t2 is 20 seconds, and t3 equals 30 seconds. So what we're going to do here is that, okay, balik muna tayo. Okay, dito na. Basically, ang gagawin natin yung area dito. Okay, dahil yung kukunin natin yung area ng velocity time graph in order for us to get the displacement or the change in displacement. So this one in this case is 1/2 times 20 times 5. So that is 50. Okay, ito yung area ng triangle na to, no? Tandaan nyo, no? This is 50. Then this one is 20 times 20 minus 5 na 15. Okay, so 15, that is 300. And the area of this one is 1/2 times 20 times the difference of 30 and 20, which is 10, so 100. So 50, 300, and then 100. Okay, so ganun din yung makukuha natin if we integrate these 3 functions nandito. Okay, nasa na yan? Okay, ito yan na. So this one is 50 meters, yun yung nakuha natin. And in that case, ito yung sinasabi 20 times 20 minus 5, yun yung 300. Inad na natin yan para makuha yung S2. Take note guys, no? Kaya nag-travel ka na ng 15 meters, idagdag mo na lang yung susunod na travel mo. And then for the next one, idagdag mo yung 100 which we get from this one. Ay, sorry. Sorry naman. Okay. Tensya na. Okay. So, bakit natin kinuha tong mga yung equation ng graph? Para makita natin yung shape ng graph natin. Okay, so this is 2t squared. So this is a parabola opening upward. This is an equation of a line. And this is an equation of a parabola opening downward. Okay? So, ilalagay nyo rito displacement niya. So, dun sa first one, so 0, dito, kasi nakuha na natin yung 50 meters dito, no? So, magsisimula to sa 50 meters. And then, nakuha natin kanina is 350, magsisimula rin siya sa 350 meters. Okay? Kasama siya rin sa integrand, no? So, we will get this function. Okay? Para lang makita mo yung shape ng function, no? Ayan. So, ito yung graph ng dalawa. So, for acceleration time graph, okay, so course 5 seconds. 0, for this one kasi constant nga yung velocity. And then, pagdating dito, negative 2 meters per second, no? While this one, itong portion na to is 2t squared. Then this one is a line. And this one is a parabola opening downward. Ayun. Okay? Did you see the... ang dami Ba't ganun? Hindi ko nakikita. Sorry na. Hindi ko makita eh. Medyo na-delay ulit yung net eh. Okay. Sensya na po. So, ito po yung natin, yung graph natin para dito sa problem number 8 natin. Okay. Do you have any questions for this one? If none, proceed tayo dito sa problem number 9. Okay, so I cannot help you for this problem number 9. This one is, okay, ang graph naman na binigay is the relationship between the acceleration and the displacement. Okay, so the acceleration of the speedboat starting from rest is described by this graph. Construct the velocity displacement graph. Okay? So meron tayong dalawang stage dito. So from s equals 0 to s equals 200, and then from s equals 200 to s equals 500. Okay, so since ang binigay dito is yung relationship between acceleration and displacement, we are forced to use this one. VdV is equal to ADS. Okay, so you want to get the equation of the velocity with respect to this one sa S, sa displacement. Kasi pinapahanap nga sa atin yung velocity displacement graph, no? So we are going to integrate, given naman yung A in terms ng S. So binigay rito, kahit hindi yan ibigay, kaya mo yung kunin, no? This is just an equation of a line. So ang slope niya ay, ang rise niya ay 10 minus 2, which is 8. Ang run niya 200. So 8 over 200, that is 0.04. Ayun. Then yung y-intercept niya ay 2. So 0.04s plus 2. Okay, so integrate mo ito. So this 0.04s squared over 2, kaya naging 0.02s squared dito, plus 2s. Then the left side will become v squared over 2. So multiplying 2 both sa kabila, 2.04s squared plus 4s, then take the square root. So this will be the function v with respect to s. So at s equals 200 feet, meron siyang this velocity na, no? So if we substitute 200 feet dito, may makukuha tayo na 0.04 times 200 squared plus 4 times s sa 200, take the square root. So you have 48.99. Okay, nilagay ko lang dito is 4 decimal places. Okay, so kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina, ang at s equals 200 is 48.99 feet per second when s equals 200 feet. So, ganun lang ulit ang gagawin natin. We are going to integrate VdV equals ADS. But this time around, ang acceleration ay constant na 10 feet per second squared. So, yun yung ilalagay natin dito. Okay? Ang initial natin, kailangan magkatapat yan. Okay, if s equals 200, the velocity is 48.99. Kagaya nung kanina. Kanina kasi when s equals 0, yung velocity ay 0 dahil wala namang binigay na initial condition. Okay? So we have what? This is 10s. Okay, then substitute s and 200. So 10s minus 10 times 200. So magiging ano yan? 10 times 100 is 2,000. Okay, so yung 48.99 squared divided by 2 is 1,200. Okay, upon 2,000 plus 2 is negative 800 or negative 2,000 plus 2 is negative 800. So times 2 both sides. Wait lang ah. So, makukuha nating function velocity ay square root of 20s minus 1,600. Okay, so when s equals 500 feet, so we have, okay, let's double check. So, 20 times 500 minus 16 square root, so 91.65. Okay, so we are going to use these two functions. Ito yung una, then pangalawa to, para mag-graph ng tama yung velocity displacement graph. And this is like this. Pwede na kayong gumamit ng ano dyan, ng tawag nito ng graphing calculator. Meron naman sa Desmos, no? So, meron kayong Desmos calculator na app sa phone niyo or pwede rin sa online, you can use this, no? Para hindi kayo mahirapan. Doon nga lang, take note, ang axis lang doon ay X and Y. Okay? Do you have any questions? Wala po? Okay, so we're going to, we will proceed sa next problem. Okay. The boat travels in a straight line with the acceleration described by the acceleration displacement graph. If it starts from rest, construct the velocity displacement graph and determine the boat's maximum speed. What distance S prime does it travel before it stops? Wait lang guys. Okay, so continue ko lang yung discussion. So, ang gagawin natin dito, dahil binigay yung acceleration, yung acceleration displacement graph sa atin, again, just like problem number 9, meron tayong dalawang segments from s equals 0 to 150 meters and from 150 to a certain s prime here. So, ang condition dito, ano daw yung s prime before it stops? Pag sinabing stop, yung velocity ay 0. So, hahanapin pa natin yan mamaya. Kasi, ano natin, ang gagawin natin, we're going to construct the velocity displacement graph and then hahanapin natin kung saan mag-0 yung velocity. Okay. Just like what we did sa problem kanina, from 0 to 150 meters, meron tayong graph na or function na a equals negative 0.02s plus 6. So we are going to integrate to this 0.02s squared over 2 kaya naging negative 0.01s squared plus 6s. So on the other hand, this will become v squared over 2 kaya sabi ko, reviewin niyo yung differential and integral calculus niyo, no? So we have what? Multiplying by 2, we have velocity equals what? The square root of negative 0.02s squared plus 12s. Okay, next. The maximum velocity of the boat occurs at s equals 150 meters, whereas acceleration changes sign. Just like this one. Dahil positive dito, naging negative dito. Just like kapag sa velocity, okay, pag nagbago ka ng direction ng lakad, momentarily mag-stop yung velocity mo, no? So at x equals 150 meter, rather if s equals 150 meters, if we substitute it, we have 36.74 meters per second. You can counter-check those values, no? So for v equals, for s equals 150 meters to a certain value s prime. Okay, wait lang. Yeah. The initial condition is v is equal to 36.74 meters per second. Yun yung nakuha natin kanina sa first one, no? At s equals 150 meters. Unless there is a changes doon sa first and second motion, hindi pa test yung dalawang to. Okay, so we have VdV again equals ATS. Integrate natin. So in this case, ang acceleration natin ay negative 4. So ang initial condition when s equals 150 and certain value ng s, no? And then, if s equals 150, yun yung sinasabi ko, no? The velocity is 36.74. So this one will be negative 4s, then substitute s and 150, kaya magiging positive ito, no? Dahil minus negative. So this will become 600. And then itong 36.74 squared. Okay, this is 1,350 divided by 2. 675. So, okay, i-add natin siya ron sa 600. So, 1,275 times 2. We have 2,550. Okay, so this is just a manipulation lang naman ng ng formula, no? In terms ng V. So, sabi nga natin, dito, what distance s does it travel before it stops? Pag sinabing stop, yung velocity ay 0. So, we will equate this one equal to 0. And then substituting s equals s prime. So, ito yon. So, 0 equals what? The square root of negative 8s prime plus 2,550. So, ito naman siya, no? So, 2,550 divided by 8 na yan, no? So, 318.75 meters. Okay, so, nakuha na natin yung S prime 380.75. So, doon mag-end up yung, natin, yung graph natin. So, again, you are going to use a graphing calculator para ma-solve ito, no? You're allowed naman to use it. Wala namang pumipigil sa inyo. So, as mentioned, ito yung maximum velocity. Ito yung 36.74. Ilagay lang niya rito as 36.7. Okay? So far, do you have any questions? Wala. Wala may tanong? Okay. So next one, since we're done sa sa mahabang part ng module 1, module 1 pa rin tayo. So we are now under curvilinear motion. So curvilinear motion, obviously, nung nakaraan, rectilinear motion tayo. When we say curvilinear motion, okay, the particle is moving along a curved path. Okay, so tandaan niyo itong mga sasabihin ko, no? Okay. It's always tangent to the path. Okay? Again, the velocity is always tangent to the path. On the other hand, acceleration is not tangent to the path. Kapag curvilinear motion. Okay? It is tangent to the hodograph, pero hindi mo naman makikita on actual yung sinasabing hodograph. Okay, sinasabi ko, the formula still holds for those, yung mga formula kanina of V equals ds over dt, and then A equals dv over dt. Okay? But we are going to restrict ourselves here. Pag nakakita kayo ng mga naka-bold na variables dito, it is a vector quantity. Pag sinabing vector, meron siyang direction. Pero katulad nito, this one is not hindi siya naka-bold. So it is just a magnitude or simply a scalar quantity. Just like speed, this is speed, no? This is a scalar. Okay? So we have important notes here that curving motion can cause changes in both the magnitude and direction of the position, velocity, and acceleration vectors. Okay? Kasi nga, nagbabago yan. Katulad nito, pag gumalaw siya rito, iba na yung direction niya. Okay? Next, the velocity vector is always directed tangent to the path. Yung sinasabi ko kanina. In general, the acceleration vector is not tangent to the path, but rather it is tangent to the hodograph. So, yun yung assignment niyo. Alamin niyo kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng hodograph. Okay? Medyo technical lang, kaya hindi ko na siya iyaano. Okay? So, sa ulo ng mga formula rito, but it's just for representation mathematically. So, pag vector kasi guys, this is just what? Ang ibig sabihin nito, we have a position r with respect to time t or parameter t. Okay? So, it is expressed in terms of x, y, and z components just like yung statics ninyo. Also, they are in terms of the parameter time t. Okay, so the magnitude of the position is simply x squared, the square root of x squared plus y squared plus z squared, and the direction is equal to what? The unit vector of r. So, ibig sabihin, yung magnitude or rather yung vector na r, i-divide mo lang siya ng magnitude. Wait lang guys. Low ba? Okay. For the velocity, this is just what? Yung derivative ng vector function or position function with respect to time. So in this case, ang ginamit natin ay r. Dahil kapag curved siya, tulad na ito, meron siyang siyang curvature. Okay? So basically, you're just going to get the derivative of the components x, y, and z. Okay, but since this one, or yung I, J, K are basis vectors, so it can be treated as constant, pwede mo siyang ilabas. Or differentiate mo na lang yung x, y, and z components with respect to time. So you get the x, y, and z components of the velocity. Okay, so as with this, you get the magnitude means of the Pythagorean theorem, and then the direction is equal to what? Yung velocity vector na v divided by the magnitude. Na v rin naman, pero ito ay vector, no? So kapag isusulat nyo siya sa papel, okay, itong mga naka-bold ay lalagyan nyo ng ganito. Okay. Siyempre, sinusulat nyo siya, hindi nyo naman siya makikita dito, no? So, this one is yung, halimbawa, sinulat mo na V with an arrow pointing to the right. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng vector. Pero pag walang arrow, it is understood that this is a scalar quantity. Okay. Kung mapapansin niyo, pare-pares lang ng atake yung mga formula diyan, no? They're going to differentiate mula dito. Papunta dito sa acceleration. At kapag acceleration naman, vice versa. Okay, integrate mo naman, no? Okay, so in order for us to understand this one, let's go to sample problems. The position of a particle is equal to r, b equal to what? Yung x component is in terms ng 3t cubed minus 2t. Y component is equal to negative of 4t raised to 1/2 plus t. And the z component is equal to 3t squared minus 2 in meters, where the parameter t is in seconds. Determine the magnitude of the particle's velocity and acceleration when t equals 2 seconds. Okay, for the velocity, as mentioned here, you are going to differentiate. Okay, yung binigay na position function. Okay, dito tayo. So, alam niyo naman siguro kung paano pa mag-differentiate, no? This will become what? 3 times 3t squared, kaya naging 9t squared. Negative 2t. Differentiate mo, magiging negative 2. Okay, this one is 4t raised to 1/2. So, 4 times 1/2 t raised to 1/2 minus 1, kaya naging negative 1/2. Yung t is 1, magiging 1, no? And then the derivative of 3t squared is 3 times t. Okay, so ito yung magiging velocity vector mo ngayon. Okay? So when t equals 2 seconds, so basically you're going to substitute everything here times 2 squared is 36 minus 2, so 34. So 2 times 2 raised to negative 1/2. So we have square root of 2 ito, no? Minus, plus 1 is, ilan yan? We have 2.414, but negative ito, no? Okay, wait lang. Akin na-accept na. Okay, and then this one is 6 times t, which is 12. Okay? Sige. Okay, and then the magnitude of the velocity is 34, square root of 34 squared. plus negative 2.414 squared plus 12 squared. So check natin to. So we have 36.136 meters per second. Okay? So ang gagawin nyo dito guys, wag nyo munang isa-substitute yung, actually pwede mo nang i-substitute kaagad yan dito. Okay, yung t equals 2 seconds. No? Pero dahil kailangan mo pa ng acceleration, wag mo munang isa-substitute dahil kailangan mo ng in terms ng t dito. No? Okay, so again, you're going to differentiate everything here. So 90 squared minus 2, ito yung x component ng velocity function. Magiging 18t. This one magiging 2 times negative 1/2. So negative 1 na yun. So t raised to negative 1/2 minus 1 is negative 3/2. So may negative dito, negative 1 na to. So magiging positive na siya. And then the derivative of 60 is 6. Okay. Meron pa bang nawawala? May hindi daw makapasok. Sino yung hindi makapasok? O nandito na siya? Wawa naman hindi makapasok. Okay. So, again, substitute t equals 2 seconds. 18 times 2, 36. 2 raised to negative 3/2 is 0.354. Okay, and then, syempre, constant na to na 6. So, shoot mo lang dun sa formula. So, the magnitude of the acceleration is the square root of ax squared plus ay squared plus az squared. Okay, take the square root and then 36.498 meters per second. So, counter-check ko lang yung mga values. So basically, you're just going to substitute the values no? Dun sa formula. Ready naman yun dyan. By the way, this one is in terms ng rectangular components. So meron pa tayong other components mamaya. Pag sinabi natin rectangular components, it's in terms of x, y, z components. No? Okay. So next one. By the way, may tanong ba kayo rito? Okay, kung wala naman, baka nahihiya eh. Let's go to problem number 12. The roller coaster car travels down the helical path at constant speed such that the parametric equations that define its position are x is equal to c times sine of kt, y is equal to c times cosine of kt, and z is equal to h minus b and t. H minus bt, where c, h, and b are constants. Determine the magnitudes of its velocity and acceleration. Okay? Excuse me. So, the derivative of these three functions, okay, are as follows. The derivative of c sine of kt is equal to what? C times the derivative of sine of kt, which is cosine of kt. And then by chain rule, you get the derivative of kt, which is k. So this is ck, no? Next, the derivative of c cosine of t is equal to what? C, dahil constant siya, no? The derivative of cosine of kt is negative. Okay, negative sine of kt. And again, by chain rule, the derivative of kt is equal to k. And then the derivative of h minus bt is negative b. Okay? So times k. Yan yung basis vector sa z, no? And what's next? You get the magnitude of the velocity by getting the square root of the sum squared. Yung tawag doon, no? So, square mo to, plus square mo to, plus square mo to. Take note of the sign, no? So now, if we take the square root of all of these terms, so the c squared, k squared, cosine squared of kt, so square mo yung negative 1, magiging 1 din. So c squared, k squared, sine squared of kt plus a square ng negative 1 is 1, then b squared, no? Then, if you notice, dito sa unang dalawang term, we can factor out c squared, k squared. Ang matitira is cosine squared kt tsaka sine squared of kt, in which, based sa trigonometry, this is a special sum, no? Or trigonometric identity that is equal to 1. So, this will reduce to what? C squared, k squared, plus b squared, the square root of that value. Okay? So, this is the velocity. And then for the acceleration, again, you're going to differentiate this one. So the derivative of ck cosine of kt is ck times the derivative of cosine kt is negative sine of kt. And then again, by chain rule, the derivative of kt is equal to k. So k times k magiging k squared. The derivative of negative ck sine of t is equal to what? Negative ck times the derivative of sine of kt, which is cosine of kt. Then again, by chain rule, the derivative of kt is equal to k. So, magiging ck squared ito. Okay, then the derivative of negative b is constant. That is 0. So, wala na siya rito. So, the magnitude of the acceleration is simply, katulad nung kanina, you can factor out ck squared, no? Then matitira yung sine squared of kt tsaka cosine squared of kt. So this will leave us ck squared. Okay, kasi naka-square to, no? Magiging c squared k raised to 4 to, then take the square root, so that will become ck squared. Okay? So this is how you get the values, no? Okay? Next is problem number 30. No? Ayan, mag-enjoy na kayo rito. Okay. Pegs A and B are restricted to move in the elliptical slots due to the motion of the slotted link. Okay, so kumbaga ito yun, no? Yung itong slot na to, no? Ang movement lang niya is by these elliptical slots, no? Kumbaga, pag hinatak mo to dito, okay, or maybe it just moves from here up to here. Syempre, no, dahil malaki yung distansya rito, baka mamaya babagal siya pag tinulak mo ron, no, or hinatak mo. Kung galing siya rito, syempre, maliit lang yung displacement, no. Pagdating dito, malaki yung tina-travel niya, so baka bumagal siya pagdating dito banda. Okay. Sabi niya rito, if the link moves with a constant speed of 10 meters per second, determine the magnitude of the velocity and acceleration of peg A, ayun no, yung nasa point A, when x is equal to 1 meter. So, binigay yung equation ng elliptical slot, which is x squared over 4 plus y squared is equal to 1. Okay. So, if you remember sa tawag nito sa geometry, so since ang denominator niya ay 4 squared, get the square root of that. So that is 2. So yun yung length ng semi-major axis. So ito yun. Lagyan ko lang ng line, no. Kikita no. So tapangan ko lang yan. Ayan. So itong green na to na nilagay ko rito, ang length niyan ay 2. Ayan. On the other hand, ito naman, although walang denominator yan, pero obviously, pag nilagyan natin ng over 1 yan, same lang din naman. So, square root ng 1 is 1. Ito naman yon, yung length ng semi-minor axis natin. Ayan. Okay. Wait lang guys, no. Ayan. Ayan, so makita mo siya doon, no? Yun yung semi-minor axis natin. So, to get the component of the velocity or the x and y components of the velocity of the peg, okay. So, dahil ito yung path ng motion natin in terms ng x and y, no? Okay, you can differentiate this function. Okay? But take note, guys, no? We're going to differentiate not with respect to x, but with respect to time t. Okay? So, gagamit tayo rito ng implicit differentiation. Okay? So, we have what? I will emphasize this. So, the derivative of x squared with respect to t is equal to what? Okay? Factor out 1/4, then constant siya. Derivative of x squared is 2x. But the derivative of x with respect to t is ito, dx over dt. As mentioned a while ago, this dx over dt is the x component of the velocity. Ayan. Okay? And the other one is the derivative of y squared with respect to t. So that is 2y times the derivative of y with respect to t. And the derivative of 1 is equal to 0. Kahit saang variable mo siya i-differentiate, is 0. So, then dy over dt is also the y component of the velocity. Okay? So, we can substitute this one, vx and vy respectively sa dx over dt and dy over dt. Okay, so we have what? The relationship between vx and vy are as follows. Okay, before that, kailangan natin ng value ng y. So, kapag yung x natin ay 1 meter, okay, substitute natin, no? So, x squared na 1 over 4 plus y squared equal to 1. So, y is equal to what? Square root of 3 over 2. No? So, 1 minus 1/4 is 3/4. So, square root of 3 over 2. Hindi ko na kinonsider yung negative, no? Kasi ang hinahanap natin is for A. Ang peg A is always at the positive direction. So, hindi naman siya pupunta dito sa ilalim. So, hindi magiging negative yung value ng y niya. Okay? So, nasa na tayo. Ayun. So, x is 1 meter and y equals square root of 3 over 2. Substitute mo siya dito. So, 1 ito. Square root of 3 over 2 ito. But take note, this is moving at the x direction na 10 meters per second. So, constant yung Vx na 10 meters per second kasi this is directing along x, no? So, this is the x velocity or at any point, yung velocity ng dalawang peg na to, either peg A or peg B, ay constant na 10 meters per second along x. Pero yung along y, din nagbabago yung value ng y coordinate niya. Nagbabago din yung yung y component ng velocity. Okay? So substitution, okay, dito sa formula, so 1/2 times 1 times vx na 10. Okay? Plus 2 times y, square root of 3 over 2 times vy equal to 0. So vy is equal to, double check natin, so okay, so we have negative 2.887 meters per second. So, ano ibig sabihin ng negative? Okay. So, pag kaya siya negative, that is because pababa yung component ng velocity niya. So, ito yon. Okay. In-exaggerate ko lang, no? Okay, and then, para lang makita niyo siya, no? Ito siya. Okay, doon sa peg A, pababa yung component ng Vy natin. Ibig sabihin, yung movement niya is towards the longitudinal axis. Pag lumapit siya ron, pababa pa rin yon. Okay? So, evident naman. So, the component or the magnitude of the velocity rather is equal to what? By means of Pythagorean theorem, so the square root of 10 squared plus the square of negative 2.887 So we have, okay, ano natin siya, no? So we have 10.408 meters per second. Okay? Okay, so next is the acceleration. The x and y components of the peg's acceleration can be related by taking the second derivative of the path's equation. So nakuha na natin yung kanina. Ito medyo madugo ito, no? Babalikan natin ito. Equation na to, no? Okay. Wait lang, guys. So, kailangan maintindihan nyo kasi siya nas ganito, no? I will copy this one. Kung saan ang galing yung equation natin kanina, no? O yung makukuha natin ng equation dito sa baba. Isisingit ko dito. Okay. So, itong dx at vx, I will put it as dx over dt muna. And then vy is equal to what? Gagawin natin dy over dt. So guys, makinig na maigi ha. Kasi hindi ko na uulitin ito. Dahil kailangan mo ng chain rule dito. Okay? So this one is what? 1/2 dahil constant yan. Factor out natin. And then familiar ba kayo rin sa formula na to? Lagi ko dito sa taas na. That the derivative of uv is equal to what? udv plus vdu. Dito guys, yung sa i-highlight ko. Familiar kayo rito? Hello guys, anyone?
Opo.
Familiar kayo dito?
Yes, sir.
Okay, siyempre,
Yes,
basic calculus lang yun eh. Okay, pero gagamitin natin siya ng chain rule dito. Okay. At technique doon, kopyahin mo yung una, tapos kunin mo yung derivative ng pangalawa. Ayun. Pinopya natin yung una, x, derivative ng pangalawa. Ayan yung derivative nito. Ayun, second derivative ng x with respect to. Take note, we are still differentiating with respect to time t. Okay? Plus, kopyahin mo yung pangalawa. Ito yon, kinopya ko yung pangalawa. Derivative ng una. O ano yung derivative ng x with respect to t? Ganun din, dx over dt. Okay? So, ganun, kaya ganyan yung nangyari dito. Okay? Plus, 2. Okay, factor out natin dahil constant siya. Okay, for this one, product ulit tong dalawang to. Kopyahin mo yung una. So, ito yon. Derivative ng pangalawa. So, this is d squared y over dt squared or the second derivative of y with respect to t. Plus, kopyahin nyo yung pangalawa, dy over dt. Derivative ng una na y with respect to t. So, dy over dt rin. Okay? So, dyan siya nang galing. So, ito, dahil dalawa naman to, you can square this one. And again, babalik lang tayo ron sa concept kanina. Di ba, pinilitan ko yung vx ng dx over dt. Malik ka lang ulit doon sa concept kanina. Kaya pagdating dito, again, this one is the x component of the acceleration and this one is the y component of the acceleration. So, ay, ito pala yun. Yung sinasabi ko. Palitan lang natin. So, 1/2 times the quantity x times ax. Ito yun. Plus, ito, vx to. Tsaka vx ito. So, vx is squared yan. So, ito yon. Plus 2 times y times ay. Ayan yon. Plus vy times by. So, by square. Okay? So, ito na yung working equation mo ngayon. Teka lang, balik tayo rin sa problem. Anong sabi niya rito? If the link moves with a constant speed of 10 meters per second, when you say constant, hindi nagbabago yung velocity sa x. Therefore, if you differentiate 10 meters per second, ano yung magiging derivative niya? Anong derivative ng constant, guys? 0, di ba? Kaya makukuha natin dito, ax is equal to 0. So, we have here as 0. And then, lahat ng nakuha mo kanina, kasi kailangan mo ng kailangan mo ng x, syempre, binigay yan. Kailangan ng y. And then, aside from that, kailangan din ng vy. So, lahat yan isa-substitute natin dito. Okay? So, substitute x equals 1. AX is 0, VX is 10, naka-square, AY is square root of 3 over 2, yung AY yung hinahanap natin, and then VY is negative 2.887, naka-square siya rito. So, double check natin yung sagot. Okay, so okay, so we have negative 38.49. Okay? So, we have here, syempre, solong-solo niya yung acceleration dahil 0 yung x component. So, the magnitude is 38.49 meters per second. Pababa din siya. Okay? Kasi, kung ito ay y, no? Pababa rin yung acceleration dito towards here. Okay? Yun lang naman ibig sabihin nun. Kasi meron tayong positive direction ng x and y. Do I make myself clear to this problem? Sabi ko again and again and again, aralin ninyo yung differential calculus ninyo, tsaka integral calculus. Ito no, yung kaninang ginawa natin, this is the combination of chain rule, implicit differentiation, and ano pa? Yun lang. Sa differentiation with respect to other, no? Actually, ito ay related sa time rates, no? Kung teka lang, umabot ba kayo ng time rates nung diffcal ninyo o hindi? Umabot. Yes, so, ito yon. Di ba nadi-differentiate kayo with respect to time? So, yon. Kung naalala ninyo, meron kayong cone, tapos may pumapasok na tubig dun sa cone. Tapos, ano yung rate of change ng tawag ito? Ano yung rate ng change ng pagtaas ng tubig kapag ang height ng tubig ay ganito? Yun yung mga problem dun eh. Okay? So, tapos na tayo. This is just, ano pa lang, no? Rectangular components pa lang to. So, before we proceed sa other components, na natin to, discuss natin tong motion of a projectile or simply projectile. Kailan ko ba makidiscuss to? Dinidiscuss to sa physics ninyo eh. May physics kayo, di ba? This time? Or do I need to elaborate this?
So, wala pa po kami sa project.
Wala pa kayo. Sige. Iunahin ko na. So, ang ano naman guys, sabi nga natin, lahat ng itapon mo pataas, babagsak sa lupa. Bababa by means of gravity. So, in this case, ang motion ng projectile, ano kaya, no? So, pag pataas, or kapag naghagis ka ng bato pataas, no? At a certain angle, nagbabago yung velocity niyan at every point. Pero yung x component ng velocity, hindi nagbabago. Dahil at x direction, this is rectilinear motion. Tandaan nyo ha. Actually, para sa naman rectilinear motion. Pero, when it comes to here, okay, rectilinear motion, constant acceleration or zero acceleration. Nakita ka na ba ng nagbato ng bato or bola na habang binato papunta ron, bumibilis or bumabagal? Hindi naman eh. Kaya ma-anticipate mo yung yung pagdating niya kasi constant lang yung velocity. Yun ibig sabihin doon. Constant velocity, zero acceleration. On the other hand, sa y direction, may effect ang gravity. Kaya sabi ko, lahat ng pataas or lahat ng hinagis mo pataas, bababa. Okay? Yung gravity. In this case naman, kung kanina dito, rectilinear motion, constant velocity, sa y naman ay rectilinear motion din pero madlang free fall. Yan, di ba? Nakita ko yung mga post niya, madlang free fall eh. Di ba? Now, so, take note guys, ang may effect dito is yung acceleration due to gravity na G. Ito no? Ay, hindi ko maklik. Itong G na ito, no? But take note, dahil ang assumption natin ng positive direction ay pataas, ang effect ng gravity dito ay negative. Okay? So, basahin nyo na lang ito, no? So, this one is not minus, this equals. So, ngayon ko lang nakita. Okay, so i-discuss ko na lang ito, no, pagdating sa problem. Kasi mas ma-appreciate nyo ito pag pag pumunta tayo sa problems. So basically, gagamitin natin itong mga formula na nandun sa rectilinear motion. But in this case, sinama ko siya sa curvilinear motion kasi yung path ng motion ay curvilinear, component na linear, yung isa ay constant velocity, yung isa ay free-falling body. Okay, kaya nagkakaroon ng curvilinear motion. So, tingnan natin, ano kaya yung trajectory? No? So, tingin nyo, ano yung trajectory ng curve kapag projectile? Okay? So, sabihin ko na, it is parabolic. Ay, second degree siya. So, ano yung gagawin natin dito? Okay, let's go to problem number 14. The skateboard rider leaves the ramp A with an initial velocity VA at 30-degree angle. If he strikes the ground at B, determine VA at the time of flight. Okay, so ano yung best na gawin dito? Kapag ginawa mo tong figure na to kanina, let's say dito ka nag-start, ilagay mo dito yung reference axis mo, magkakaroon ka ng initial position with respect to X tsaka with respect to Y. Kaya ako, personally, para ma-eliminate itong mga X naught tsaka Y naught na to, ang ginagawa ko dito, nilalagay ko yung aking reference axis doon sa kung saan nag-start yung projectile ko. Okay, dito ko nilalagay. This one is the x-axis and this one is the y-axis. Okay, so that yung yung x naught tsaka y naught ko ay 0 para ma-lessen yung ma-lessen yung mga variables na meron ako. Okay, so dahil dyan ko nilagay yung x and y axis ko, therefore, yung point A, yun nga, select point A as the origin so that its coordinates is at 0, 0. So therefore, ano ngayon yung magiging coordinate ng point B? Siyempre, nandito na, 5, -1. Pero kung titingnan nyo maigi, point B is 5 meters away from point A along this x-axis and y meters down ng x-axis. Okay, so ito, pababa. Kaya negative siya. Wala namang problema yan kahit negative yung value ng y. No? May makukuha naman tayong mga formula dito. Okay, by the way, saan ang galing itong formula na to? Before I proceed, hindi mo yung makikita rito. So, saan ang galing itong formula na to? Okay. That's the beauty of selecting this one as the origin. Saan siya nang galing? Sabi ko nga kanina, before we proceed here sa problem na to, the x component, we have constant velocity. So, x equals what? Velocity times time. So, v naught x times time. Okay? Yan yung gagamitin natin. Okay? And then sa y, there is a falling body, y equals what? V sub OT, di ba? V sub, okay, wait lang. Plus 1/2 AT squared. Kung natatandaan ninyo. Kaya tandaan nyo itong mga value na to. But take note, I will put here V sub naught y. Dahil ang concern ko dito ay y component. So, to distinguish it to other components ng velocity, this is y component of the initial velocity v naught. Okay? So, as with this one, kaya nilagyan ko ng subscript na x. Okay. But since, sabi ko nga kanina, ang effect ng gravity ay negative dahil pababa siya. So, A will be equal to negative G. So, this will become minus gt squared. Okay? Coming from here, sa isang equation na to, A will be equal to what? X divided by V naught x, no? So I will substitute it here sa pangalawang equation na to. So, ayan. Okay, so y is equal to what? V sub naught v naught y plus times t, no? Which is this one, minus 1/2 g. So I'll put it as d over 2 times t squared. Okay? So y is equal to what? Okay, we have x times what? V naught y over v naught x. Okay, nira-range ko lang, no? Minus, this will become what? Gx squared over 2 v sub naught x, or v naught x, no? Na naka-square. Okay? So, what is this? What is v naught y and v naught x? So, kung titingnan natin dito, obviously, kung ito yung theta, no? Hindi nakalagay rito. So, if you notice that this one is the x and y components of the velocity, so we can say that this is what? Y equals what? X times what? V naught y is equal to what? V naught times sine of theta. Okay? Then V naught x is V naught cosine of theta. Okay? Minus this one. And then take note that if we replace V naught x by V naught cosine theta, I will replace this also. Okay? Ng ano? V naught cosine theta squared. Okay? Then, if you notice, V naught and V naught will be cancelled out. So, what is sine theta? Okay, by the way, this is V, ano no? Okay, so, wait lang, no? May mali ako dito. Tanggalin ko yung x dito. Wala yan. So, ayun. So, this will become what? Okay, y equals x because v naught is cancelled, no? And sine over cosine is tangent. So, minus gx squared over 2v naught squared cosine squared theta. Okay? So, kung gusto nyo tandaan ko, walang problema. Pero you can just use this two formula here na binanggit sa taas. Okay, parehas na yan dito. Okay? So, dyan ang galing yan. No? Okay? So, substitute mo lang lahat ng kailangan mo na values. Then, yun. Y is equal to negative 1. X is 5. Hindi naman pwedeng negative yung, ano mo, yung x mo, no? Unless yung axis mo, yung motion mo is papunta sa kaliwa. Actually, kung nasan yung direction ng projectile, dun mo tinuturo yung path direction ng x, no? So, we have substitute lang natin. X is 5. Theta 30 degrees. Ito yon. Okay, and then G, don't forget to 9.81. Kapag English system, 32.2. So, x equals 5 squared. The 2, V naught is yung VA na hinahanap natin, naka-square. Cosine squared of 30 degrees. So, you can just solve it by means of your... Okay, so, I'll just double check, no? Okay. Double check ko lang, no? Okay, so we have 6.486 meters per second. Okay? So, nakuha na natin yung initial velocity. So, we're going to use this. Ayan. Ito yung formula kanina, no? Na nilagay ko rito. So, makukuha mo rin time of flight. Then, meron kang 5 meter distance sa x, no? So, we have 6.486 cosine 30 times time t. So, 5 divided by this one. We have 0.18. Okay? So, do you have any questions regarding this problem? Ito po, naman sa inyo, hindi ko kayo ituturing na CE students, tuturing ko kayo na CE. CE talaga po. Kasi preparation yan sa ano ninyo. Sa ninyo. Okay. The next. Wala na kayong tanong. Problem number 15 tayo. The pitching machine adjusted so that the baseball is launched. Lagyan natin siya rito. Yan. So that lahat ng coordinates ng galing sa point A, mare-refer mo. No? So point B will be equal to what? Ano yung coordinate ng point B? That is 30, negative 1.2. So, isang patunay na ang equation na or ang path ng projectile ay parabola by means of this one. Ayan na. Okay, naka-x square yan eh. So, pag x square yan, so definitely parabola yan. Parabola siya, no? And then, L negative ito, it is opening downward. Kaya ganyan yung magiging equation niya, no? Okay, so, wala lang. Sinabi ko lang. So, let's take this one. Ito na lang gamitin natin, no? So, dahil binigay naman yung ano, yung ang binigay dito ay terms ng coordinates. So, ang hinahanap natin is yung theta, no? So, i-substitute natin siya. Ako, I prefer to use this one kapag may kinalaman sa geometry yung problem, no? In this case, binigay naman yung mga coordinates, no? So, i-substitute natin siya doon sa formula. Kasi sinasabi ko kanina, point B is at 30, negative 1.2. Okay? So, using equation 3, wala equation 3 yan. Nasa taas yun. Okay? So, negative 1.2. Okay, x is 30. And then g is 9.81. X is 30. Squared. Okay, over 2. V naught. Nagkataon na 30. Okay, magka-cancel out yan eh. Okay? So what will happen? Upon simplification, we have what? Negative 1.2 is equal to what? 30 tangent of A minus 4.905 cosine squared of theta A. Okay. If you multiply both sides by cosine squared theta A and rearranging, lahat ililipat mo sa left side, no? So, if you multiply the cosine squared theta A, so ito siya. If you multiply 30 tangent of theta A sa cosine squared of theta A, take note that tangent is sine over cosine. So, magka-cancel yung isang cosine. So, magiging sine theta A cosine of theta A. Okay, so ang mahirap dito, how will you express all variables or all these angles in terms of just one trigonometric function? So, dito, may cosine dito, may sine dito. Ito, naka-square palalo. So, gagamit tayo rito ng trigonometric identity. Or pwede namang erekta muna sa calculator. Ako, sinolve ko siya rito using this. Okay, huwag niyo nang pansinin ito. Pero kung gusto niyo double check, pwede naman, no? Gagamit tayo na tinatawag na okay? So, ito yun, no? And then, after which, makukuha mo yung sagot dito. Okay, ito yung process ng pagsosolve niya ng mano-mano. Okay? If I were you, kung medyo galit ka sa mga ganito, pagka nakita mo na to, you can replace cosine 2a ng a na lang or b para magamit mo yung quadratic equation. Okay? may using quadratic formula. Alam niyo ba yung quadratic formula? B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So, gano'n lang yung gagamitin natin dito. So, yung A, ito yung C. Okay? And then after which, may makukuha kang dalawang value ng cosine of 2A o cosine of 2 theta A. Isang positive, isang negative. Okay? If you take the inverse cosine of these values and dividing this by 2, pag kinuha mo yung inverse cosine niyan, that is 2 theta A, so divide mo ng 2, so we have 7.819 degrees saka 80.52 degrees. Okay, ano yung ibig sabihin nun? Bakit dalawa? Ganito po yun. Balik tayo rin sa taas. Actually, dalawa talaga yan. Kung mapapansin nyo dito sa figure na to, parang ano lang no? Parang mababa lang yung value ng theta A. No? Pero pag hinagis mo yung nasa na yan? Ano pwedeng gamitin dito? Pag hinagis mo yung bola o yung baseball ng sa matarik na ano, no? Matarik na angle, ng pagganyan, no? I-exage ko lang. Matarik yung pagkakahagis mo, doon din siya babagsak. Okay, ganyan. Matarik lang siya, no? Ibig sabihin yan, doon din yung bagsak niya, pero matarik yung angle mo. Siyempre ito, dahil mababala yung angle na to, yung time of flight niya, mabilis lang, pero ito, medyo matagal kumpara dito. Okay, pero ang point doon, ang hinahanap natin yung angle na kung saan siya, ang concern naman natin is kung saan siya lumanding, hindi yung time of flight. Okay? So, dalawa yung possible angle. Okay? Kasi kapag ginamitan mo siya ng calculator, kung alam niyo yung shape solve, kung tawagin, isa lang yung lalabas doon at a time, or one at a time lang, no? One student or one average student or malapit sa 90 degrees. Okay? So in this case, this is 80.52 degrees. Okay? Meron po kayong tanong regarding this one? Actually ito, pwede mo na itong i-input sa calculator mo. Pero yun nga lang, paano mo mapapalabas yung dalawang value? Okay? So, kaya pinakita ko pa rin itong mano-manong solution dito. Actually, ito ay ano ko lang to, pinano-mano ko lang din yan. Translate ko lang into words, tsaka mathematical expression. Kaya nakuha ko to ng mano-mano. Okay? Any questions? Ay, hindi po lalagpas ng degrees yun. Kasi, yung nakuha niya na angle, ano may tanong niya? Kasi hindi siya pwedeng lumagpas ng 90 degrees. Actually, hindi rin siya pwedeng maging 90 degrees dahil yung yung solution mo. Ibig sabihin, pag may napalabas ka na 90 degrees, there must be a problem on your solution. Kaya hanapin mo kung saan ka nagkamali. Kasi technically, pag binato mo siya at an angle 90 degrees, kung saan mo siya ibinato, doon lang din siya babagsak, neglecting air resistance. Okay, di ba? Kasi direct pataas eh. So, posible siya, oo, pero hindi siya aabot sa 30 meters. Okay? Okay, any questions before we proceed? Wala na? Okay, so kung wala na, we are going to proceed dito sa problem number 16. Okay. Ayan. A boy throws a ball at O in the air with speed of V naught at an angle theta 1. If he then throws another ball with the same speed, V naught at an angle theta 2 with theta 2 less than the angle theta 1. Time between the throws so that the balls collide in mid-air at B. Ang weird, no? Okay, kumbaga, parang nagbato siya ng bola, pero mas mababa na yung angle niya. Ang galing eh. Ang galing ng formula, ang galing ng problem na to. Bubunggo daw sila rito sa point B. Parang ano lang yan eh, parang yung mga nag-basketball, yung mga back shoot yung tawagin. O back, may titira, tumira yung isa, matarek, maya-maya titira din yung isa, tapos sa mangyayari, magkatama sila ron sa ano, sa ring. Yun yung ibig sabihin nito. Which means, hindi sabay yung pagbato ng bola dito, no? The point here is, okay, if we are going to establish axis, okay, dun sa point O, yun yung gagawin natin dito, no? Ayan. Ano lang natin dyan. Ilalagay ko lang dito sa point O yung axis. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng measurement is in terms ng x and y. Okay, so ibig sabihin, yung point B is a distance x from the y-axis and distance y above the x-axis. Okay, so kung titignan natin maigi, same lang yung equation or same lang yung gagamitin nating formula para sa dalawang to. So y equals minus gx squared over 2v naught squared cosine squared theta. Pero dahil nagkaiba yung angle nilang dalawa, so nilagyan ko ng subscript na 1 tsaka 2. Okay, pero same lang yung kanilang equation. Take note, kapag magkaiba yung angle na yan, magkaiba rin yung numerical value ng ano dyan, ng coefficients nila. Therefore, yung isa mas okay? But still, they have the same coordinate sa point B na x, y. Kaya, equal itong x nila, tsaka yung y. Okay? Okay. So, since they have the same value of y, we can equate this one to this one. Ako dito. X tangent theta 1 minus gx squared over 2v naught squared cosine squared theta 1. And then this one is this one. X tangent theta 2 minus gx squared over 2v naught squared cosine squared of theta 2. Okay, combining like terms, ano yung mga magkakaparehas na terms? Ito may x. So, may x. Lipat mo sa kabila. Okay, so maging x tangent theta 1 minus x tangent theta 2. So I just factored out x para mabilis. Then ito, lipat mo sa kabila, magiging positive. Okay, and then common sa kanilang dalawa yung g over 2v naught squared or gx squared over 2v naught squared. So I will factor out it. Tira sa loob ay 1 over cosine squared theta 1 minus 1 over cosine squared of theta 2. So the reciprocal of cosine is secant. Right? So I will replace this one, or we will replace this one by secant squared theta 1, and this one is secant squared of theta 2. Okay? Since merong x both sides, we can cancel this out. Is na lang yung x dito. Ito yung nangyari dito, no? Okay, and then solving for the value of x. So ito, cross multiply mo yung 2v naught squared dito over g, then divide mo nito. So ito na siya. Pero ang ginawa lang natin dito, okay, wait lang, no? Ay, di pa pala, ang hinahanap is time, no? X. So, ang ginawa natin dito, sinimplify natin siya in such a way na ang lang natin is sine or cosine. So, sine of theta 1, or rather, tangent of theta 1 is sine over cosine. So, as with tangent of theta 2, ito yon. Then, secant squared of theta 1 is 1 over cosine squared. Yung second squared of theta 2. So, since, magkaibang variable to, no, technically, or magkaibang variable na sa ilalim, pag multiply natin, so, sine of theta 1, cosine of theta 2, minus cosine of theta 1, sine of theta 2. So, this one is what? Cosine squared of theta 2 minus cosine squared of theta 1. Para mag-cancel cosine squared, cosine theta 1, cosine theta 2, dahil parehas silang meron dito. Cancel natin yan. Tapos, ang mangyayari, itong sine theta 1, cosine theta 2, minus cosine theta 1, sine of theta 3, trigonometric identity na sin, cos, cosine. Okay, tandaan nyo ba yan, guys? Sin, cos, cosine. Kung familiar kayo kay sin, cos, cosine, ito yung ginamit natin dito. So, sine of theta 1 minus theta 2 is equal to sin, cos, cosine. Okay, so pinilitan natin siya dito. Okay, so x over this one, wait lang. Wait lang. Tama na. This is sin, cos, cosine. Factoring this one. Wait lang. Yan po saan nanggaling tayo. Wait lang. Okay. So, by the way, sige, makikita natin yung natin dyan mamaya, no? So, ang point here, nag-cancel ito, tsaka ito. Inisip ko saan nanggaling tayo, or baka hindi ko lang nabura, no? Okay, so, time between two throws, ito, balikan natin ito mamaya. So, the time between two throws is delta t equal to what? T1 minus T2. And since this is a projectile, constant ang velocity na, so we have x is equal to v naught xt, or t is equal to what? X over v naught x, no? So, ginawa natin siya, ganito na lang. Okay, so substituting, so T1 is x over v naught cosine theta 1, and T2 is equal to x over v naught cosine theta 2. So we can substitute this value of x dito. Okay, tama. Dapat ito. Pardon me, guys, no? Sorry po. So wala dapat yung, hindi ko lang na-delete, no? So, if we substitute this one, ito mismo, dito sa x. So, technically, magka-cancel yung v naught, no? Ilagay natin dito, no? Pakita ko yung 31. This one is what? X over v naught cosine theta 1. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, may v naught dito, magka-cancel yung v naught dito. Okay, kaya naging ganito siya. Okay? So, yung cosine theta 1, sinama mo na rin sa g. Okay, kaya naging ganito siya. So, and then, take note, substitute this one to delta t. So, x is this one minus this one. Okay, so, ito yung T1 tsaka T2, no? Kaya sinubstitute natin siya rito. Actually, ito pa lang yun. Para hindi tayo masyadong ma-confuse, no? So, dito sa dalawang to, common yung x over. So, 1 over cosine theta 1 minus 1 over cosine theta 2 is this one. Okay? So, ito siya, no? Naurong siya rito. So, ngayon, dito natin sinubstitute yung x. Okay, na ito. Okay? So, yun yung kanina. 2v naught over g. So, yun nga. Wala dapat ito. Nakopy ko rin siya rito, no? Pati rito. Nakopy ko siya. So, pasensya na, no? Baka na-confuse kayo. So, anong nangyari dito? Nung sinubstitute natin siya rito, okay, take note that itong denominator dito, this is difference of two squares. So we can say that yung a square minus b square is equal to what? A minus b times a plus b. So if you notice, this one will be cancelled. So cancelled siya, no? So, teka lang. Mawawala yung dito. Cancelled pala siya, no? Ilagay natin yan dito. I-resolve ko to guys, no? Kasi mahirap mag-type ng on the spot, no? So, alamin ko saan nanggaling itong term na to. Dapat wala itong term na to eh. Pero dapat magka-cancel out siya. Okay, but I'll promise to you that the answer is this one. Itong value na to. I-double check ko lang siya. Lang ah. Dapat wala siya eh, no? Saka may nawawala akong term dito. Sige, anong na lang siya? Balikan ko na lang. Okay, so let's go to problem number 17. So, pwede naman tayong hanggang alas 7, no? It is observed that the skier leaves the ramp A at an angle 25 degrees. Ito yan. With the horizon at B, determine his initial speed, VA, and the time of flight, TAB. Okay, so, anong nangyari dito, ganun din yung gagawin natin, no? Magka-copy ako ng coordinate system. Okay, ilalagay natin siya ron sa point A. So, ang hinahanap ay angle theta A, no? Or rather, meron pala yung theta A. Ang hinahanap is yung initial speed. Okay, pero ang babagsakan niya rito ay naka-inclined. Okay? So, walang problema. Kung naka-inclined yan, alamin mo lang yung distansya na to. Okay, yung distance between this one and this one. So, dahil ang inclined ay 100 meters, it is sloped at 3 vertical, 4 horizontal. So, 100 divided by 5 is 20 times mo ng 3. So, ang ibaba niya mula dito ay 60. Again, 100 divided by 5 times mo naman ng 4. So, yung ginalaw niya sa x ay 80. Okay? So, if this one is 0, 0, then point B is at coordinate 80, negative 60 o negative of 60 plus 4. Kasi yung 60 ay galing dito sa ilalim. Kung saan ang galing yung 100 meters. And may extra 4 meters dito. So 4 plus 60 is 64. So, yung pinakita ko rito, no? Ayan. So yung y ay negative 64. Yung x ay 80. So we're going to substitute it dito sa formula na to. So, we will get here, check natin. Okay, divided by okay. So, we have 19.423 meters per second. So, yun lang naman yung twist dito. Hanapin mo lang yung x and y, no? So that mailagay mo ng tama yung coordinates dito. Okay? And then after which, you can apply this one dun sa sa formula natin na x equals v naught x times t. So v naught x is equal to v naught cosine theta. 45 at 25 brother. So 17 point siya? 60. So 80 divided by this one, we have 4.55 seconds. Ito yung nakuha natin dito. Okay. So any questions? Yung kaninang problem number 16, i-resolve ko muna siya, no? Kasi parang may dyan, may nadagdag ako na terms dyan. Next one is problem number 18. The boy at A attempts to throw a ball over a roof of a barn with an initial speed of 15 meters per second. Determine the angle A at which the ball must be thrown so that it reaches its maximum height at C. Find the distance D where the boy should stand to make the throw. Okay. So parang yan yung mga senaryo na pag naglalaro kayo ng batu-batuhan, diba? Didistansya ka, tapos gusto mong paabutin sa taas ng bubong yung yung bola o yung ibabato mo. So, yung height daw ng barn or yung roof ng barn, yung tuktok ay 8 metro. Tapos, mula ron sa pader ng barn, okay, 4 na metro yung point C, horizontally. So, gaano ka daw kalayo o pwesto so that ang velocity ng bato mo, 15 meters per second, also yung angle theta sub A ay missing or unknown. Okay, sabi niya dito, if you are going to consider the vertical component of the motion, okay, the vertical component of initial and final velocity are what? Pagdating dito, ang vertical component ng motion mo ay per second times sine of theta A. Okay? And then pagdating dito, sa tuktok, di ba, free falling body yan eh. Meron siyang Vy na 0 dito sa point C. Kasi nga, di ba pagdating dito, pataas siya, then biglang bababa. Nag-change ng direction dahil 0 ng velocity ron. Okay? So the initial position is 1 meter dahil ang reference natin ay dito sa ilalim. Okay? So, we have what? Yung first formula natin for constant acceleration. Take note guys, no? Free falling body is constant acceleration. So we can substitute this one, no? So Vy is equal to V naught Y plus yung A sub C rito, yan yung negative G. Okay. So we have 0 is equal to what? 15 sine of theta A minus 9.81 T. Okay, so we have our equation number 1. Next, so Sy, S of Y is equal to what? S naught Y plus V naught YT plus 1/2 A sub C Y T squared. Okay, so yung A sub C na yan, A sub C Y na yan din yung G. Rather, negative G. So we have 8 is equal to what? Initial displacement to 1 plus V naught Y na 15 sine of theta A times T. And then minus 9.81 over 8 minus 1 is 7, no? Okay, so ito yung ating magiging equation number 2. So how can we solve for theta A and T? Okay. So, anong gagawin mo rito? From equation number 1, you can solve for the value of either or ng T. Okay, so I prefer to use here, kung ang kailangan mo ay yung angle lang naman, yung theta A, okay, substitute mo yung value ng T with respect to theta. Okay, so we have what? We have T, or sorry. So we have T, ano naman nangyari? Yan. So, T is equal to what? 15 sine of theta A okay, divided by 9 point. Ba yan? Yan. So, yan yung isa-substitute natin sa T dito. Okay, so we have 7 is equal to what? 15 sine of theta A. T natin ay ito, yung 15 sine theta over 9.81 minus 4.905 T squared. So, yung T natin ay ito. So, isa lang ang variable natin. Okay, actually, parehas yan magiging sine squared, no? So, we have what? 15 times 15 over 9.81 minus 4.905 times 15 squared over 9.81 squared. So, take the square root. So, 0.78. Arc sine is 51.378. So, same lang yung makukuha natin dito. At kung gusto mo makuha yung T, okay, substitute mo na lang siya rito. Okay, so we got here 1.195 seconds. Okay, actually, kailangan din naman natin yung time dito. So, the next question is, saan ka pupwesto? So, ano yung D? So, the horizontal velocity is VA cosine theta A. E nakuha na natin yung theta A na 51.378. So, we got here cosine of 51.378 times 15, 9.363 meters per second. So, tama naman to. So, the initial and final horizontal positions are, the final is D plus 4. Nasaan yun? D plus 4. So, dito ko naman ang galing eh. No? So, Sx is equal to what? S naught x plus V sub V naught x times T, no? Yung T nakuha natin yun dito. So, 9.363 times 1.195. Okay, so we have 7.185 meters. Okay, so ganyan kakalayo doon sa wall ng barn. In order for you to hit the roof of the barn. Okay, ito yan. So, ang reference naman niya is nandito. Hindi niya nilagay doon. Anyways, kaya dito mo naman ilagay yon yung axis mo. But take note, ang magiging value na ng y mo doon ay 8 minus 1. So, ganun din lang naman yon. So, 8 minus 1 is 7. Kaya ito yung lumitaw dito. Okay? Any questions? Wala na po kayo. Ay, may tanong po ba kayo? Hello? Nandiyan pa kayo? Wala naman daw. Okay, so kung wala nang tanong, so I will cut the session up to here. So mamaya double check ko itong nandito, no. Pero I think ito kasi talaga yung sagot, no. Alamin ko lang kung saan ako nagkamali sa may solution, no. So
Sir, po regarding
sige
sa
po.
Regarding po din sa yung mga inagis niyo po, yung sa mga una niyo pong may change din
Ano
po.
Ano po yan?
Kasi diba sir, yung sa lesson po natin is meron pong konting changes sa mga solutions po. Meron din po ba yung sa mga una?
Actually, dun sa mga unang yung mga una ko sinan, untouchable naman yan. So, kapag nag-send ako ng panibagong updated na module, bibigay ko naman kung nasan yung mga yung mga changes, no. Pero sa mga konting typographical errors lang naman yung mga yung mga ano ron, yung mga correction doon.
Sige po.
Sige. May tanong pa po ba? Okay. So kung wala nang tanong, so I will make a special announcement that okay, magbibigay lang naman ako ng ano ng mahirap no, magbibigay ako ng konting activity or mga konting problem sets this ano this holiday season or holiday break. Then you are going to submit it sa first meeting natin sa next year, January 2021. Okay, so this will be our last year. So I hope na I hope na may kahit papaano man lang may natutunan kayo sa akin. Medyo mabilis ang discussion natin. Marami pa tayo kailangan. Okay, so I will send the activity siguro by tomorrow. And then again, the activity will be submitted first Thursday ng ating session sa January. So, that will be January 7 at kung di ako nagkakamali. Madali lang yun. Saan po ilalagay? Is either, okay, I will post it sa Google Classroom or kung doon sa mga may no? And then, lahat ng instructions on how to submit, where to submit, ano yung format, ibibigay ko ron sa, ano, sa instructions doon sa Google Classroom. So, ang gagawin natin dito, syempre, hindi naman sa pinamalit ko yung kakayahan ninyo. Magtutulungan pa rin kayo. Syempre, yun ang what's the essence of being a friend na kung di mo siya tutulungan. Pero, sana naman, kapag naman, wag naman yung ano, halimbawa, isa lang yung gumawa, tapos gagawin nyo, yung gawa ng isa, isasend niya rin sa isa, and then yun na rin yung isasend niya sa akin. Wag ninyong gagawin yan dahil malalaman ko kung kanino kayo nang hingi ng tulong. O, halimbawa lang, I will give ito example lang to halimbawa, si Ren, si Madrinyal, halimbawa friend niya si ano, si ganito, si ganyan. So, nagpatulong siya kay ano, kay ganito.